Okay, here we are, part 14, Trent TR6 race car engine rebuild. We've almost finished the long block. We're almost ready to take it off of the engine stand. But before I do that, a few tricks of the trade. Remember on the harmonic balancer, I told you I made some marks to assist in timing. And I thought I'd touch again on that a little bit, because if you're at the racetrack and you want to confirm that the valves are adjusted properly, or might have a camshaft lobe that's going down, and you want to check your clearances, this will make it easier. Now, when number one piston is fully at the top, it's 0 degrees. Valves 7 and 9 are fully open. That means that we're going to adjust or confirm adjustment on valves 4 and 6. That's at 0 degrees. Now, the next ones by the manual to be adjusted are when valves 1 and 3 are fully open. Okay, 1 and 3 are fully open, which means I will confirm adjustments on 10 and 12. I put a little mark. Next ones to come up will be 8 and 11. I won't crank that around, but when crank and 8 and 11 are fully open, I put a little mark. So then I would confirm valves 2 and 5 for adjustment, and so forth and so on. If you do that, when it goes time to adjust your valves or confirm it or chase a problem, these little markings, and there aren't that many of them, I think there's only 5, because you have duplication in positions. That'll help you when readjusting your valves. Okay, now we're going to go to the back of the engine. I'm going to readjust my camera. So the TR6 engines are pretty low compression engines. The early engines, 69 through 71.5, we'll call it 72, they were at 8.5 to 1 compression, and 72 to 76 were 7.5 to 1. Well, this is a race car engine, and I'm running it at 12.5 to 1 compression. So you might end up with a little pressure in the crankcase from blow-by past the piston rings and stuff like that. So here's how you can ventilate the block pretty easily. Get rid of your mechanical fuel pump. It's not going to cut it anyway. I'm running triple Weber 40s, so I'm using for a fuel pump, a Mr. Gasket S12 8 to 9 PSI fuel pump, and I use a fuel regulator to choke that down to just barely over 3 PSI for my Webers. Now, where the mechanical fuel pump used to be, you can get this blocking plate from Good Parts, and it's threaded, and get the angle from the hardware store. Put this on here, seal it up good. 1/2-inch hose goes over to your overflow catch can, which is required for racing. I would suggest not sending it to the intake manifold. And that's how you can ventilate your block. And that's a good thing to do. Okay, so let's say you're almost ready to start the engine. There's oil in the sump. You've pre-oiled the lifters like I told you before. The shaft, this is the shaft that goes down to the oil pump. Comes up to right about here in the casting. This little flat tang. And that is driven by this beveled brass drive that comes off the camshaft. It goes down to the oil pump shaft, and it goes up to the distributor. You want to get this orientated properly. Number one cylinder full of the top. And then this offset slot, this part should be pointed about the number 1 o'clock position, but check your manual for that. And just get it to where you think it should drop in place. But if these two parts aren't lined up, it's not going to seat all the way home. So what you want to do is get it to where you think it should be, and then use your wrench and rotate the crankshaft, and then this will turn, and then they'll line up, and it'll go to the right place, and then you can go backwards with your crankshaft to get the number one piston full up, and then make sure you check everything. Once you're pretty sure it's where it's supposed to be, then take a picture with your phone and make sure you know where to set it to if you need to pull this out to do something on your distributor, for whatever. Okay, so we're going to have this drive out. I took a screwdriver, I sacrificed it, cut a slot so that it would marry up with this oil pump shaft. Goes down in here. Then I attach a drill. A cordless drill may not be strong enough. It could be an AC drill. And then you turn it, not crazy RPMs, counterclockwise, and eventually you'll feel it pull. And that means it's sucking up the oil at that point. And that will send it to the journals for the crankshaft and for the rods at the main bearings. That way you pre-charge the lubrication system. Now don't go too long or oil's going to come out of here and places you don't want. You just need to drag down. You'll feel it connect, start to pre-charge, and then you can stop. That way, when you do start the engine and bring it to life, you're going to have oil pressure almost instantly. And so that's a good thing. That's pretty much it for the long block for today. I want to talk to you about the business I own and work at. It's electronicmoneycompany.com. My wife and I have owned this company for 21 years, and we do merchant services. So that's credit card processing. So if you own or work for a company that accepts credit card payments, you should really take a look at us. We do next day funding, next business day. We don't ask you to sign a contract. We can do online sales. PCI costs are very minimal, can be zero. Our fees and our rates are very modest. And if you ever need to have customer service switch banks or look into a chargeback or something, it's a local phone call. You talk to somebody in America in my office. You don't dial 1 for English or any of these things. So please keep Electronic Money Company in mind for credit card processing needs. And that'll pretty much do it for part 14 of the engine rebuild.